I always knew that I would do something creative because it's something that I always loved to do from a very young age. I loved working with my hands, and it was something that I could concentrate for hours on, even from a very young age. And I think there's something to be said about this. Steer towards things that you love to do and that you're good at. It's a really basic principle, but I'm surprised at how many people gravitate away from things like that, thinking that they can't sustain it in the form of a career, but it's not true. Because I've done two things that are pretty obscure, cooking and art. And I've been able to make a career out of both of them. And yes, lots of luck has come my way, but I am a great believer of that thing of if you always, honing in on your craft, it's that thing of, what's that phrase? Preparation meets opportunity or whatever. I do hugely believe in that, and it's happened too many times in my life to not know that that is a real thing that's happened to me. I kind of knew I never wanted to be stuck in a building and be working for people, and I sort of dabbled in a little bit of freelance and found I was very bad at taking instruction. And I was very dogmatic about my ideas. So if a client said, can you just give me 6 ideas? I was like, no, I'm going to give you the one and it's really good. And so I just had a lot of trouble working in the commercial realm. And because I went to university as opposed to TAFE, they don't really train you very well to function as designers, to be able to quote and know all the post and pre-production stuff. So I was pretty dysfunctional, really. I always think it's really interesting when I meet personalities that follow this very linear path when they go to uni or at high school. They pick all their subjects so that they can get into the course that they wanted, and then they study, they do really well, and then they go into that profession. Because I think sometimes if you're really tunnel vision with life, you miss out on so many other opportunities that might be your real calling. And there's that phrase that I think has been coined for a reason, blind ambition. And I think it's not encouraged enough to just use your emotional intelligence more when you make decisions on your career. Because if it is something that you love and it's something that you're good at, there's so much there already that you can work with. And for me, it's just always about never losing interest in and daring to raise the bar for yourself all the time. And I think if it's something that you don't love doing, you run out of steam really quickly, or at some point.
And in that process, kind of mistakes can be opportunities, right?
Yes, I love mistakes. I always embrace mistakes. Whenever people go, I just got fired. And I was like, brilliant, now you can do what you really wanted to do. I always try and get them to see the other side of the coin. And I've learnt so much from my mistakes, and it's always just about picking yourself up and just troubleshooting and knowing, you do learn so much. You learn so much about yourself, I think, with mistakes. Yeah, I always joke to people about how my life was before Masterchef, and I just roll out of bed at the crack of noon after painting till 5 in the morning the night before, and just I don't know, if I just became obsessed with potting plants that day, that's literally what I do the whole day, and then, play with my dog, take him to the park, and then I'd go, should probably start work at 5 o'clock, it was just so much freedom in my life. And now it's just not like that at all. It's just literally I have things where when I was doing my book tour the first time, it was just quite shocking to me. My publicist would have 2 phones going, and I'd be in the car and she'd just mash one phone against me and she would be like, okay, that's 3AA, they want to talk to you about your book, okay, blah, 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 answer 100 questions. And then she goes, okay, wind up, okay, thank you. And then she's like, this is such a radio, and then you'd have to talk, wind up. And then while I'm on the phone, she'd push me out the door literally, she'd come around the other side, link her arm through mine, and then she'd walk me through a shopping centre. I wouldn't even know what state I was half the time. Walk me through this maze in a shopping centre, and I'd see the queue outside for the book signing, and then I'd sit down, meet and greet 200 people. And you have to get really energised through the whole thing, because people, when they meet you, they get really shy. So you have to be cartoon character for for the whole day. And then night time, they'd have like dinner functions and you'd do the same thing again. So that for like, a few weeks. So it's just like a really, and then the whole time as well, I'm getting emails going, I wanted that yesterday, where's that recipe? We need it for the food festival, we need to buy ingredients. So yeah, it's really, really stressful all the time. And I just really, really miss that, that really cruisy bohemian lifestyle I used to have. Yeah. So it's really, really different.
It's almost like something you wish for, you get there and you wonder.
Yes, be careful what you wish for. I always say that to people. And I don't say this without absolute gratitude, of course, because I feel like it's kicked so many doors open that in time I'll be able to sift all the things, and I'm starting to do it now, that I don't want, and give them back to where they came from and keep what I do want out of it. And then the doors that have been kicked open I can use as leverage for my creative projects that I've had as lifelong dreams. So you just sometimes have to suffer at little points in your life to get to where you want to go. So I thought, what if people see me on TV and think that I'm some crazy just trying to be famous, and use it as leverage for my art, but I'm not at all. But what if it just gets construed exactly the wrong way? And I had to think about it, and I actually suddenly realised, I know the people that buy my work, and my work is not really rock star work. I don't really make highly conceptual work that sells for hundreds and thousands of dollars. And I have a couple of corporate collectors, but I'm not really on that realm. I'm not definitely on that. I'm not in the secondary market, and I don't know if I'll ever will be, because my work can be quite corny, and I just can't run away from it. It's really weird, because a few times in my life where I got a bit angry and I thought, maybe I should make some conceptual work, and it just fell flat on its face. And it's just such a hark back to what we were talking about before. Always just really know yourself and know your market, because when you're not, people can really sense it. And so yeah, I sort of make quite works that are quite earnest. I don't really make work that's highly conceptual. It's really for its aesthetic beauty, and it just tells kind of quite simple stories really about me growing up with two cultures, and I'm not really having a whinge about it. It just is what it is. And so I thought, yeah, because of the type of people that attracted to my work are usually affected emotionally by it, I knew that it wouldn't really be affected. They'd still continue to like the work, and so I felt comfortable doing that. And what was interesting though, after MasterChef and during it, all my galleries reported a triple in the sort of number of inquiries that came in. But I knew this would happen, and it did. None of them resulted in sales. And it's that whole thing of hype, and I hate hype, and I hate things that are hip and cool, and it's because it evaporates. It's not real. It's like thin air bullshit stuff, right? And I think everyone was just calling because they saw me on MasterChef, and they're like, oh, she's a painter. And so many people complained. They were like, oh, the works are so expensive, because they thought that I'd just started painting when I was on MasterChef. I don't know what they thought, but that's how kind of simply people react to the media. It's a very shallow medium, so people kind of don't really delve into it. They just react to things, and then they click on your name, and it's not really delved into very much. So yeah, none of it really translated to sales, which is quite interesting. So what it's done though, it has made the people that buy my work really enthusiastic about my work. So it's kind of done all the right things, which is really good.
You've often described the sort of process too, and it sounds a bit that way, between a pendulum, I think you were saying on the phone, right? Between kind of success and gain, or success and effort almost.
Yeah.
And it swings between the two, in terms of you put a whole lot of effort in and then success comes, and then you've got to sort of work backwards.
Yeah. I think that the risks, I think the pendulum is a great analogy for risk. The bigger the swing, the bigger the risks you take, the bigger the gains, and it's something that I think is studied a lot in business. But and if you want to live this kind of quite safe, average, relatively happy life, you take little risks, and it works. It's good. Like it's if that's what you want. But I think like the bigger risks, the bigger amount of excitement also can cause you equal amount of like unhappiness and complications in your life and all those kinds of things. People always ask me about the parallels with cooking and painting, and they're the two things that when I do them, I just feel so okay with myself. I really like myself when I'm painting and cooking on a really basic level. I like the way I feel in the world. I feel like the world is a really great place, and I get really massive highs from them. Like if I make, you know, a really nice bun or I render like, you know, an ear really nicely on a painting. Like I will literally just be filled with so much adrenaline I won't be able to sleep. Like I'll just be bouncing around, dancing and with my dog or whatever. It's just, yeah, and I feel that, yeah, they're very similar processes in that ingredients and paint are very similar. Like, you know, how to construct something that's flavour-wise, a cohesive, beautiful thing that sits on a plate and has a nice composition and that people find attractive and want to eat. And it's a thing with the painting as well, you know, it's problem solving with composition but with colour and form instead. So yeah, I find the process is really similar. I avoid mentors. I don't know what it's like with business, but I find in the world of creativity, people play their cards quite close to their chest and they bum steer you. And no one's going to make a decision better than you are. There's so many tiny little variables and nuances to your personality and, you know, that come into play, that telling someone an issue is not really solving the problem. Just tell your mum. And sometimes it's just telling someone, it's like therapy, just telling someone your issue and voicing it, talking about it is useful. But sometimes I find mentors are a little bit naysayer-ish because they like, especially if they're older and they've gone through a different path, because like painters, you know, it's not the same world. Anyone can be an entrepreneur now. You know, you can start a cupcake business overnight if you want on the internet. You can do so many things. You know what I mean? Because of technology has sped time, and it has connected us. It's, you know, shrunk us globally so much. And they didn't have those opportunities when they were younger. So they had to, like, you know, just really do the hard yards. And I think there's a certain amount of resentment that comes from them thinking that you can just do things overnight and be savvy with your social media and be able to find a following just through things like that. So, like, you get a lot of, oh, yeah, no, it's very tough. Yeah, I don't know if I do it that way. You get a lot of that. And then you walk away and you're like, oh, I need to have a shower now.
You know, if you'd sat down at the start of that whole journey when you arrived in Australia and then said, this is how Poh as a person's going to develop, and actually built that up, it probably wouldn't have looked anything like the process.
No, there were so many moments where I really felt like I was just floating and I was just waiting for something to stick. And those moments are quite scary because you're just like, am I just going to be a hobo for the rest of my life? I don't know. And I'm just going to be working at this sushi bar for the rest of my life. I think you do have to let those moments kind of, see what sticks. Don't always just jump at money and that stability. And I know that goes against what everything your parents and, you know, a lot of your instinct tells you. But if you wait for those moments to happen, it can take you on a wilder, more excellent adventure.